Hi, my name is Allison Spears, and I'm a Brentwood City Commissioner. I've been in that role for right over 2 years. My husband and I moved to Brentwood from Nashville 16 years ago so that we could raise our family. He and I are both native Middle Tennesseans. It's a joy to be able to serve the residents of Brentwood in this role. I'm here because I felt a clear calling that I was supposed to serve the residents of Brentwood to help them maintain what's the most important things to them. And I would like to leave Brentwood a place where the generations behind us can have the same experience raising their families that we did. There are a lot of things that the commission has done that I'm very proud of. The most important thing is that we've upheld what the residents want, and that is we've voted for no new zoning changes in the last 2 years, nothing. And that is really a great testimony for the residents of Brentwood. I've also had a focus on veterans for the last 2 years. Prior to me being elected, there was not a Memorial Day or a Veterans Day ceremony in the city of Brentwood specifically for our residents who are veterans. So we initiated our inaugural Memorial Day event last year, and we'll be doing our second one this year, and our inaugural Veterans Day last year, and we'll also be doing another one this fall. And additionally, we are going to start the efforts for a permanent Veterans Memorial in the city. We haven't had that before, but we're getting that going soon so residents can be looking for more information about that. In the city of Brentwood, we have an amazing budgeting process. It is clear, it is diligent, and it is forthright. The city of Brentwood operates with around a $56 million annual operating budget. And so we take care of all of our outflow expenses out of that. We also save more money than that and put it towards capital expenditure. We also have savings accounts, they're called funds, for different areas. So the city of Brentwood operates a phenomenal budget, and we live within our means, and we do not spend more than we make. And we have not had a tax increase in 34 years. There's no plan for a tax increase. All 7 city commissioners agree on that. When we are looking at the idea of who a resident might want to vote for, obviously it's important to do their research. So they need to know what's important to the candidates who are running. When a resident goes into the voting booth, they will have the opportunity to vote up to 3 candidates, but they might find that only 2 candidates align with their vote, and that makes their vote more powerful. The residents of Brentwood are overwhelmingly outspoken about zoning and how important zoning is to them. They want us to hold the line on zoning, commercial and residential. They understand that our infrastructure is based on our current plan for the city of Brentwood, and if we change the zoning in either direction, that will really put undue pressure on our already burdened infrastructure, and we don't want that, because if our infrastructure is beyond burdened, then our quality of life changes. And the residents of Brentwood are clear that they do not want zoning changes. We've been resisting the hyper-growth and development for years, and it's very important to the residents of Brentwood that we continue to do that. Davidson County functions extremely differently than Brentwood, and it functions differently than Williamson County. So we know that Brentwood sets a standard for the rest of the county. We've seen that recently this last year with the interlocal agreements between all of the cities in Williamson County about the urban growth boundary. And we've seen that residents do not want encroachment and growth into their urban growth boundaries, and they want to remain how they've already been zoned. So Brentwood was a leader in that area and helped give voice for other parts of Williamson County because we have had success with not having hypergrowth. And I think that's a great example for the rest of the county. And we don't want Brentwood to compromise where we've stayed for the last several decades, because if we compromise, then that will allow other people to compromise as well. We used to say that developers were knocking at our door in Brentwood, but now they're banging at our door. And I see my role as to hold the line on development. Just in the last few weeks, there have been several things that have happened. On our south border, the city of Franklin, truly right at our city line, the city of Franklin has approved 600 apartments and an 8-story hotel at the Cool Springs Mall. They've rezoned the Cool Springs Mall for that. At our northern border, just hundreds of feet over our northern border, out of the hill is growing a 7-story residential unit, and it is going to impact our infrastructure. In my neighborhood, the very first street is actually in Davidson County. And so those lots are all in Davidson County. And I have learned in the last few weeks that a house on 1 acre has been torn down, and 2 of the tall, skinny houses will be put on that lot in the middle of a neighborhood that's 1 house per acre. If they could come across the street, if they could come across the border, if the developers could, they would do it in a heartbeat, but we stand in the way, the City Commission stands in the way of that. Personally, I've been approached by developers who own property in Maryland Farms, and they have made it clear to me that they would like for us to change their zoning to upzone those properties. In the city of Brentwood, any zoning can change with a 4-3 vote of the City Commission. Right now, there are 4 city commissioners who are clear and have a proven track record of voting not to rezone. If that majority were to switch the other way, then zoning changes could come and come quickly, and the face of Brentwood could change dramatically in a very short amount of time. The development crowd knows that I stand in the way of changing zoning for the city of Brentwood. And so they're trying to make sure that there are distractions put in place. One of the distractions is a potential indoor racket facility. Since we've been working on this project for the last 4 years, city staff has built it into our budget. And so we have an account, a fund for this specific project. And by the end of fiscal year 2026, which is 13 months from now, we will have $13 million in that budget. And it's not taking away from any other projects. Taxes have not been raised, nor they will be. And we can decide if we're going to move forward or not. It's my opinion that we don't need to take out debt or a loan for this project since it's an amenity and we do have the budget already allocated for it if we choose to use it. So when misinformation is coming out about a potential indoor racket facility, that's a distraction from what's really going on and what's really important. And what's really important to the residents of Brentwood is that their zoning doesn't change. They do not want to turn into Nashville. They do not want to turn into the Gulch. If we're spending an inordinate amount of time talking about a potential indoor racket facility that we have the funds to pay for with cash, then we're not talking about the real issues, which are zoning. And I'm what stands in the way of zoning changes in the city of Brentwood. When I ran 2 years ago for Brentwood City Commission, I promised that I would hold the line on zoning, and I've kept that promise. It has been my honor to serve the residents of Brentwood for the last 2 years, and when reelected, I promised to hold the line for the residents of Brentwood and to stand strong for the Brentwood we love.